Welcome. We're going to talk about No Way Out 2006. We're going to get that burnt up in a minute. Of course, we're going to play it on Peacock. Uh, I do want to do a TNA show probably next month. I'm not sure if WrestleMania is in March or April. I do want to watch a TNA show rather than watching a WrestleMania because WrestleManias, especially the ones I haven't seen recently, those jumps tend to be 4 hours. Who the hell wants to watch a 4 hour wrestling show? You dig? So we're probably going to end up watching something else. I gotta make sure my audio is straight before we get started with this. I want to start the show probably 5 or 10 minutes after the hour. So I want to give it some time. I want to make sure the audio is straight first. Do 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 do. So do do do. Okay. All right, audio's fine. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, go to Peacock. We're going to No Way Out 2006, the main event of which is Undertaker versus Kurt Angle. This is going to be an absolute masterpiece. Um, I'm not so sure about the rest of this card though. Uh, I ain't so sure about the rest of this card because I honestly I have it on DVD, but I don't remember it, and I'm glad I don't remember it because I get to rewatch these things for not for the first time, but with fresh eyes. And to me, that's the most fun part about the watch-alongs is I get to watch shows that I've seen already, but I get to watch them differently because I can't just sit back and passively watch the show or half-ass watch the show. I have to actually sit and watch it because I have to discuss it. I have to discuss what I'm looking at. Um, oh, here it is. No Way Out. All right. The first No Way Out was in 1998. Huh. That's interesting. I may just watch No Way Out 2005 in my spare time. You're gonna wait about 5 or 10 more minutes before more people to come in, and then we're gonna start the show. AJ3 says, "Hey, did you hear? Cash Patel has been confirmed, and he's gonna release the Diddy list. And the Jaguar Wright was at Trump's palace receiving an award. Uh, Jaguar Wright should be put in a straitjacket. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about her. She should be put in a straitjacket." But we'll see if there's going to be a Diddy list or an Epstein list. But the thing is, I wanted to talk about the FBI, and maybe one day I don't know if it'll probably be next month on one of our live streams. The FBI is totally ineffective. It's one of the most ineffective things in the entirety of the country. And every book I read about the FBI everything I read about true crime basically just tells me that the FBI, they're good at catching white collar criminals, but people who actually do real damage to society, they're always a step behind. It's always a school shooter the FBI knew about but did nothing. They let the mob run around for decades and decades and never did anything. You know, they never was able to catch those leftist bombers, like the Weather Underground and all those guys. They almost never caught those people. It's just like tons of the FBI being incompetent kind of shit. Like it's just throughout history, the FBI has been notoriously incompetent. And I don't expect that to change too much, if we're being honest. It seems that every time the FBI really does catch somebody or catch something, it's usually because they set it up. You know, they usually like if they stop the bombing at a mosque, 9 times out of 10, they're the ones who were trying to plant the bomb in the mosque in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So this is horse shit. So I don't trust the FBI. I want them gone. I have way more respect for local police and state police. And the ironic thing about the FBI is it was actually created because local police was so corrupt. And a lot of that was because of how corrupt like Tammany Hall was in New York, where almost the entire police department was corrupt. In Chicago, with Al Capone and all them, it was so corrupt. And then you get the FBI, and they get this sort of mystique that the G-men always get their man, but most of the time it was the local police catching these guys. It wasn't the federal government, but or it was arms of the federal government that were not the FBI. Which is really really weird. But I can't stand the FBI, man. I can't think of anything the FBI has done that I thought was like important to society. So hopefully this Cash Patel guy gets rid of the FBI. I'm not putting any money on it, but it seems like Trump's appointments is to put people in place with the intention of weakening the department and dispersing most of its duties back to the states. WG Phil says, I watched Spectacular Spider-Man Season 1. Peter has so many options, yet he's choosing MJ, who's a pass around to Flash and a stint with Eddie. That's how some of the Peter Parker love interests are in the comic books, where Pete is in love with some girl, but she's often dating some other guy too, or Pete's too busy being Spider-Man, so the girl goes off and is with somebody else, but he's still yearning for her. That's kind of a common Spider-Man trope. It happens a lot in Spider-Man. Well, the old Spider-Man. I can't tell you about new Spider-Man, but the Stan Lee Ditko era Spider-Man. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff in there with Betty Brant and all those other girls. But Mary Jane is like a weird case because, especially in modern day, everybody knows that she's been the love interest for the longest amount of time. When they do weird stuff like have her like there is plenty of stories like her dating Harry, his best friend and stuff like that. So that the stuff in the movies was kind of the love triangle that was in the movies actually existed in the comic books for a while. But it's all soap opera drama. It's what makes Marvel different from DC. It goes back to what we talk about pro wrestling. Like Marvel is superheroes, but it's mostly like an elongated soap opera. A lot of the stories in Marvel have heavy soap opera elements, from the Fantastic Four to Spider-Man, even Doctor Strange. With the star-crossed lovers thing of Doctor Strange and his wife, whose name is slipping my mind right now, but she's from like the Dark Dimension. Of course, you got Daredevil and Elektra, but also Daredevil and Black Widow. And also Daredevil and Karen. You know, it's just a lot of that stuff. You know, and the least soap opera of all the superheroes in Marvel is usually Captain America, and he doesn't carry a book by himself usually. He's usually an Avengers character. Like he can carry a book. He's a generic action guy, but not a lot of Captain America love interests floating around. You know, I don't think he has an iconic love interest. Like when they did the Jeff Loeb and who was the name of the writer? Oh no, Jeff Loeb was the writer. What's the name of the artist? Jeez, but they did a series of color theme like Daredevil Yellow, uh, Hulk Gray, Spider-Man Blue. It was all about a lot of it was about love interests that had passed away. But Captain America didn't have one, so they changed it to his great guilt about the death of Bucky Barnes. So it wasn't Captain America is like the one character that is it doesn't have like a real schlocky soap opera feel to it. Uh, AJ3 says Cash Patel and Pam Bondi sound like a mixed tag team that Trump booked together to head up the FBI. Hopefully they take that motherfucker apart. All right, we're gonna talk about this and then we're gonna get into the show. It says WG Phil says, did you see Shane offer the ownership for AEW and Booker and Khan ghosted him? I did hear about that. I was probably gonna talk about that in a separate video. Um, But I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all because it's ridiculous, and it's just the kind, or let's say it's just the kind of thing you would offer if you don't expect the other person to accept it. Much like when Paul Heyman uh, was offered the job to book TNA, and he said he wanted a piece of the company and total creative control, and that led Dixie Carter to back out of the deal. This seemed like the exact same thing happened here, where Tony Khan may have pushed for it. Shane did the big ask. That's what Trump calls it, the big ask. You ask for something that is so astronomical and so ridiculous that the other person can't possibly say yes, but it's a negotiation tactic. You know, you get they counter offer with, I can't give you an ownership stake, but I can give you creative control or something like that, which gets you to what you really want. But if Tony Khan ghosted him, rightfully so. Shane McMahon has no history of running a wrestling company. What the fuck does Shane McMahon know about running a wrestling company? He only knows what his dad knows. But I don't believe it anyway. Anyway, so let's get into this. We're gonna start the show in 30 seconds. So at approximately 12 to 13 minutes after the hour, we're going to be hitting play on No Way Out 2006. So we got 20 seconds. So get ready. I don't know how this show was 2 hours and 47 minutes. It was going to end at about midnight, thereabouts. Oh boy. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Yeah. I miss these kind of introductions, man. They don't do this stuff no more. Now we got to see people walking to the ring carrying Starbucks cups. This is big superhero shit right here. You know what I'm saying? And it's storyline heavy. This was one hell of a road to WrestleMania for Rey Mysterio, man. He got kicked in the balls immediately. The perfect setup for how his title run would go. This was I'm getting in trouble, Randy, and they still did this shit. I wish they had done this match at WrestleMania, but I understand why they did it because Vince's idea was for Undertaker to lose. But I really wish they'd have did this match at WrestleMania. That would have left Ray to wrestle what, John Cena? No, it would have been JBL, wouldn't it? No, it would have been John Cena. So no, that wasn't going to happen. But it was also an excellent idea to give Kurt a huge win right before he lost the title, a statement win too, right before he lost the belt, to really make this title run mean something. Because he wasn't supposed to have it. I think this is the run that Shawn Michaels was supposed to have, if I remember correctly. Didn't he win this title at the Battle Royal or something? I remember there was one of those title runs he wasn't supposed to have it. It was supposed to go to Shawn Michaels, but Shawn didn't want to work on Smackdown. Eddie not in heaven, he's in hell. Killer promo by Randy. Yeah, it was tasteless. But man, that was some heat. When you make people legitimately mad and legitimately uncomfortable, that's good. That's good. WG Phil says, was the match because Angle was already on his way out? I don't think so because he didn't leave until a couple of months after this. He was still there in June, as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly. So this was in February. So he's still there for 4 more months. because they did the brand split, and he got sent to ECW shortly after WrestleMania, which was around One Night Stand, so maybe like July, because then he had to feud with Randy Orton. Huge night. Carlos Cabrera. Look at Hugo's fingers. They look like Vienna sausages. What is this now? Oh, it's Gregory Helms when he got rid of the Hurricane gimmick. Cruiserweight title. He had some pretty good matches with Matt Hardy later this year, too. Was it the year before? I don't know if they was for the Cruiserweight title or what, but I know Gregory Helms, when he first got rid of the Hurricane gimmick, was pretty good. He's kind of generic, but I liked him. I was a fan. Man, he sounded like a bumpkin. I forgot he sounded like that when he talked. He got the same accent AJ Styles got, and he's from two different places. He's from North Carolina. They whooping his ass. Oh shit, super crazy. Psychosis. This that era. Which one of these guys is he wrestling? Scotty Too Hottie. I don't want to see this. Oh my god. Challengers? So it's more than one? AJ3 says, and you know his real name is Gregory Helms, but he couldn't be called Shane Helms because of Shane McMahon. Plus, he wanted to do a heel version of the Hurricane based on the Dark Knight. That sound like that would have been great. A heel version of the Hurricane would have ruled. London and Kendrick are in this match, and they come to the ring as a tag team. Is this a battle royal? Oh shit! Oh, it's like a 6-pack challenge or something like that. Okay. Funaki still works there, believe it or not. Funaki's got a run, man. He's on the run of a lifetime. Hey, it's super crazy. He's wearing a garbage man jumpsuit. I love Psychosis. I can't believe he's doing this though. This Mexico is over the top. Super Crazy is tremendous, man. I love that guy. He's one of the few ECW guys that I think is actually quite good. Most ECW guys are terrible, but Super Crazy is amazing. Oh, it's Nunzio. Damn, he's skinny. I saw some footage of him shoot fighting, and I was very impressed. It's amazing this guy didn't just go into that. How many people in this goddamn match? Kid Cash's entire gimmick is that he looked like Kid Rock, which is true. I know he was a big deal in TNA, kind of, and not. Oh, okay. Will be the Cruiserweight Champion of the world. Okay, so first pin, first submission. How many people in this match? It's like 8. That's extra. That's a lot of people, bro. And everybody want to fight Shane or Gregory Helms. Goddamn. AJ3 said, "Decide who he got fired. He could have had a similar Rey Mysterio run, but as a top mid carder. Man, Hoovy couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle the pressure. It's unfortunate. I loved Hoovy. Apparently, he was like insane, like legit insane. Typical heel stuff here. He's just kind of hiding. I can't believe they put tag teams in here. They crazy for that. That's a 9-man match. Oh shit. They got London and Kendrick in there wearing the same gear. It's just insane, man. Oba's on TNA. I heard he was supposed to be going to TNA. AJ3 says, I do miss the Cruiserweight Championship, but now we have many mid-card guys in position of power. Why not bother having a Cruiserweight division? Well, part of the issue is 90% of the fucking company can fit in the Cruiserweight division. So there wouldn't be appointments for a Cruiserweight title. I mean, who wouldn't be in it? That's how would be the question. It'd be like 4 people total that wouldn't even be in the division at all. Solo, Jacob Fatu, Damian Priest, McIntyre, they wouldn't be in it. The hell, you could probably squeeze certain people like Nakamura in them, even though he probably just, he is tall, so maybe not. No, now they jumping him. Oh, now they jumping him. They making him look bad. The cocky outcast. There's too many bodies in this match. I gotta tell you, for one pin, one submission, there's too many people. I guess it's a spectacle at least. I guess it's more interesting than if it was like a one-on-one. Except for anybody with super crazy or psychosis, I really wouldn't. Or maybe Brian Kendrick. I would have no interest in watching Gregory Helms wrestle Kid Cash one-on-one. Oh shit. Damn, no water in the pool at all. WG Phil says, do you consider London and Kendrick, Eminem, or Enzo and Cass the biggest fall off? Well, London and Kendrick were tag team champions. They were the longest reigning tag team champions in SmackDown history, as far as I know. So I wouldn't even consider it a fall off. I mean, they just went as far as they could go. Eminem, well, it was certainly a fumble, but then again, Joey Mercury's face and drug problems was, But Enzo and Cass, that was all attitude. I mean, neither one of them got any success in WWE, so I gotta say it's gotta be done, right? London and Kendrick were at least a popular tag team. They were tag team champions for a long time. Eminem was a hated heel team, had some good matches with the Hardys. Unfortunate incident sent one of them spiraling, and Johnny Nitro was Intercontinental Champion. I think he might have even won the U.S. title. I think he even main evented a show or two. And, he was a mid-sized star. But Enzo and Cass, yeah, right. Nothing happened. No championships. They were super over, but that was about it. They were mostly an entrance. Impressive ass entrance, fun ass entrance, but mostly an entrance. Is this when Kid Cash was teaming with Jamie Noble and Jamie Noble was hurt or something? Or had that not happened yet? I remember him being in a tag team with Jamie Noble. And they took the Pitbull's name. Oh, I've had enough of this already. There's not a lot going on here. There's not a lot of like high flying cruiserweights in this match either. Like when cruiserweight became just small versions of the heavyweight division, then that's kind of pointless. Did you hear that Road Dogg is going to be the new writer for Smackdown? I heard that. I heard AJ Styles caping for him. Look, I don't know what ideas are Road Dogg's ideas, so it's hard for me to have an opinion. Considering, like what AJ Styles said, I mean, when Vince was there, he tweaked everything. So, but I did hear that Road Dogg when he made this comment that he wanted Big E to win the title the year that Kofi won it. And I was like, yeah, he must not have been listening to the crowd. He was not paying attention to that crowd at all. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But we'll see if it's better than it is now. It sucks now. I'd like to see him do one more elevated single leg drop kick. The Rock's going to be on SmackDown tomorrow. I believe it when I see it. He's going to be on SmackDown to do what? Because Roman's not going to be there. What's up, X9? You all right, brother? Hope everything's going well. You about to get it in. I got to tell you, brother, if your finisher is a shining wizard, you're probably not going anywhere in life. Brian Kendrick is so skinny and generic. SmackDown is the worst thing ever. You can at least laugh at AEW. Yeah, AEW is incompetent. SmackDown is boring as shit, and Raw, and so is Raw. It's just a boring show. That's what people don't understand. Boring is the worst possible thing you can be. Kid Cash's only WWE action figure is basically Jerry Lynn's yellow tights. I was never a fan of this guy, Scotty Too Hottie. I don't get the appeal. He's silly. I remember when he was a jabroni, for God's sake. I mean, he was still a jabroni even as Scotty Too Hottie. People try to get you to push this guy today. Oh, people go crazy for the worm. I respect Psychosis for wrestling the entire match in a bandana, and I also respect none of his opponents for grabbing it. Not one opponent tried to choke him with it. What was that? Here come the Brain Buster. Oh, great super crazy moonsault there. And Gregory Hump steals the finish. Typical triple threat kind of finish where Guy steals the pen. Isn't he one of the producers in WWE too? Gregory Helms now. AJ3 says we have Otis and the Caterpillar. Why do we need Scotty anymore? We didn't need Scotty then, let alone need him now. Uh-oh, Booker T is talking.
I'm not 100%. I'm not ready to go out there and compete tonight at my best. And you know that. See, look, man, I'm the greatest United States champion of all time. Hell, I'm the greatest champion that ever lived. You want me to go out here and compete? Look, man, people in Baltimore, they don't want to see me if I ain't 100%. The whole world, they don't want to see me if I ain't at my best.
Let's stop the drama right now. Now, you're right. The people in Baltimore don't want to see you unless you're 100%. Well, you know what, Booker? You look 100% to me. In fact, this past Friday on Smackdown, you looked 100%. I watched you get up. You hit Chris Benoit in the back with a chair.
That was a miracle, Teddy. A miracle. Hallelujah.
That was a miracle, man.
You know what?
He's no good.
On one knee, all right? I'll get down on two knees. Look, I'm begging. I'm begging.
You see what you're making my wife
Please
do?
give him more time. He's
Show me
still
up.
injured.
Show me up. Wait. You don't have to. All right? That's not appropriate for you.
Look, Teddy, you know, look, man, if it'll make you feel better, man, if it'll make you feel like the big man on campus, I'll get down on one knee too, all right?
Oh, no.
I'll get down on one knee too and help you out, baby.
All right.
Okay, Teddy, please.
All right.
Please, man, just give us a chance.
Okay.
The only thing we ask you,
I tell you what. I'll give you a chance, but you got one choice. You know what that is? Either you wrestle Chris Benoit tonight, or you will forfeit the United States title.
No, hell
He glassy eyed. He glassy eyed over that shit. Oh shit! It's Lashley's wife. I forgot that Bravo even worked here. Uh-oh, it's Finley.
Listen, I came all the way from Ireland for a fight tonight, and I don't have one. You know what? No one will take the fight to me, and I guess I'll pick a fight.
Oh my lord. Oh my goodness. Yeah, what's this all about? He's gonna kidnap the random ring announcer. He's gonna kidnap somebody. What is going on here? I want to have a match. Nobody wants to fight me. So I'm going to kidnap this woman, and somebody's going to come and stop this. I got to tell you, it's a solid plan. This is like some shit out of the 1930s, like you see it in a comic strip. You're going to tie her to the railroad tracks or something like that. What is going on here? That wig is awful, baby. This is the kind of shit Samantha wanted to do, bro. Why is there a referee in the ring? Okay, so Lashley is going to be the big hero. Okay. Interesting way to get into this match. Just makes it feel impromptu. Scotty Tuhati asked for his release in 2021 because of 2.0. Shameful. Helms was on TV this Monday. Oh, shit. What did JBL want? What's going on here? What we got over here? Is this a match or no? What's happening here? You got oh wait. What is going on? Why is he running to the ring? What is happening? Okay, is this the match? JBL and Lashley? Okay. Shug it, duck it, quack, quack. How long can New Day carry the heel run? Well, it ain't gonna be much longer. Kofi's really good at getting heat, so maybe it'll be a little while. But they need to have like an objective, a goal. They need to cash in on having all this heat. So did Sharmell did what the marks call long-term storytelling by wearing a tiara just to become queen of the ring 4 months later. I think she was like some kind of black beauty queen, and that's why she was wearing a tiara in the first place. AJ3 says, I don't care what Dave Meltzer says, Booker T is phenomenally better at promos, commentary, the guy can do it all. Absolutely, he's a jack of all trades. That thing he just did with Teddy Long was amazing. I remember these two guys wrestling for like the U.S. title or something like that. I don't remember this match. Oh shit! This is young Lashley. He got the fresh legs. Is Finley signing the equivalent to signing the Motor City Machine Guns of the 2000s? No, it's like when Vince signed Bob Backlund and brought him back. I couldn't believe Finley was coming to WWE when I first saw it. I was like, this is not real. A WCW Saturday Night guy who never did anything is going to come to WWE? What for? And then I actually was like, you know what? This guy's pretty cool, man. WWE actually increased Finley's stock. A lot of it was just letting him go in there and run with Benoit and William Regal and guys like that. Have slobber knockers with Lashley and them. X9 says the thing I hate about modern wrestling is anything is downplaying the previous eras, especially the Attitude Era. I'm not even a huge mark like that. I think that they want to just separate the history of now from the past, which is not possible because since they trade on the past so much. A good 50 to 60% of WWE's marketing is on stuff that's happened in the past, not stuff that's happening in the future. Islamic State, what are your thoughts on Hangman Adam Page deleting his Instagram account because he thinks it's a fascist site? Look, Hangman Adam Page is a ladyboy. I am not surprised at all he thinks Instagram is fascist. Like, who really gives a shit? He needs to go back to working with kids. He needs to go back. Well, no, he needs to stay away from kids, actually. He needs to go back to working with construction paper and glue and stuff like that and get the fuck away from pro wrestling. I figured he left Twitter because he thought it was a fascist site. But apparently Instagram is fascist too. Like, everything I don't like is fascist. Everything I don't like is racist. Everything I don't like is fascist. Did we feel shameful Triple H let go Bobby Lashley? Made me question the validity of Triple H's racism allegations. Didn't even send him to NXT. Didn't his contract run out? I think when it came to like him and Shelton Benjamin, well, I think Benjamin got fired, but I think Lashley's contract just ran out, didn't it? But he's certainly not helping. You know, he's not helping those allegations the way he treats people. You know, Not doing anybody any favors. Just like Mistake says, Adam Page the biggest sissy modern wrestler. Danhausen is pretty woke too. Yeah, but Danhausen is a gimmick, so who cares? Adam Page is actually pushed on television, so by definition, he's worse. Of the woke idiots being pushed on TV, him and CM Punk are probably two of the worst. But I think he's more of a sissy than CM Punk is. Hangman Page was never good anyway. In Ring of Honor, he was a job guy. He only got popular when he hung with the elite. He was the Buff Bagwell of the group. That is absolutely factual information, as far as I can tell. Now, I'm not the biggest historian on Ring of Honor, but I don't remember him doing anything of note when I was watching Ring of Honor TV. I had to stay up till 2 in the morning to see it. I don't remember Adam Page being a big deal. And I remember the whole storyline between, right before everybody blew the joint up when they did the big Christopher Daniels angle, the big Adam Cole angle right before he left, and he had to put the belt on Kyle O'Reilly, I believe it was. I don't remember Adam Page doing anything around that time. JBL is so effective. Just like Mistake says, he's been wrestling since 2008. And he's learned nothing. You talking about Hangman Page? I don't know, man. He's been in a cocoon for the last 5 years, though. X9 says even Cody was more over. Yeah, Cody at least was the Ring of Honor World Champion. As much as everybody tries to take away his what's the word I'm looking for? His bona fides as a star on the independents. He was a Ring of Honor World Champion. Their boy Hangman Page, who was there first, was not. He was winning championships in Japan. Their boy Hangman Page was not. WG says Hangman deleted his Facebook and IG because Zuckerberg was trying to get chummy with Trump because of his Merck attempt. Avoid Doge because he revealed the Biden administration threatened him with the Hunter Biden laptop. Oh yeah, I remember. I saw that. Zuck went on Joe Rogan and basically gave up the ghost about how all the Biden administration was spying on everybody and everything. Yeah, I remember that. I didn't know this had to do with that. I'm not surprised though. He need to go teach Harvey Milk or something like that. Who cares about this guy? Just like Mistake said, that's why I don't understand why CM Punk hated all the other AEW wrestlers. They're mirror images of him, overhyped, egotistical nerds who came through the indies. I think that's part of the problem is that he can't stand people who are so much like himself. And I think he didn't get it. I think CM Punk came face to face with the kind of shit he gave Undertaker and John Cena and Randy Orton in WWE and Triple H and all those guys, and he didn't like it. Because if you hear about all those complaints, Undertaker telling them about the dress code or telling them about little shit here and there, and Punk giving him lip about it, talking shit, being problematic. And then he went somewhere where the young guys acted like the same way that he was acting when he was in WWE. And he learned what the problem was. Says Page was a young boy for Roderick Strong and Jimmy Jacobs in Ring of Honor called The Decade. It was in 2014. That's unfortunate. Being Roderick Strong's young boy is really unfortunate. I know the Ring of Honor crowd likes some Roderick Strong, but he's very much Dean Malenko. Depends on the opponent. I'll never just watch a match because Dean Malenko was in it. But if you put Dean Malenko against somebody that I actually like, I may actually really, really enjoy the match. This is actually getting pushed to the limit. But then again, it's not surprising. JBL is the main event guy. This is the first year of Lashley's career, if I remember correctly. I think he debuted in 05, mid-05. Just like Mistake says, when Punk first joined WWE in 2006, he told Vince that he could hold his own in a real fight with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. They had a mock fight on an airplane. I need to learn that. I never heard that story. Whoa, shit! What a closing. I need to go learn more about that story. WG Field says, remember when Punk was saying no comment about him burying Roman at the Survivor Series post show? I didn't see that. Just like I said, there's also the story of him telling RBE that he was the locker room leader now, just after he joined in 06. I remember that because Rob talked about it. Cody also talked about it, and other people have talked about it. And then he denied that it happened. Bullshit. That's bullshit, because Booker T talked about that shit too. So many people mentioned that time frame of him saying he was the locker room leader or him trying to tell people what to do and all that kind of stuff. Oh, nice throw. I can't believe. Oh, shit. Finley is back. This match too long to end in disqualification. Oh, no. He hit him right in the throat. Ooh, that was stiff. Ooh, that sucked. This is one of the few Lashley pinfall losses in his first year. I probably would have been mad about this at the time, but thinking about it now, Bradshaw is a former world champion, man. It's okay. And they cheated, so it's okay. I'm pretty sure Lashley got that win back later, though, because I remember them wrestling for the U.S. title. Oh, this was the first match he lost. Jeez. Rene Dupree stays shitting on Punk. I hate Rene Dupree. I really do. X9 says Obafemi is probably like top 5 modern wrestlers. I'm not even going to pretend to change your mind. He has not done anything that I disagree with yet. He has not said anything I disagree with yet. Divine Mistake says Booker T threw his wrist tape on the floor and Punk demanded everyone clean up after themselves. For comparison, Booker T was wrestling in 1992. And this had to have happened in 2006 or 2005. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh my God. Just like Mistake says, Omos probably would have main evented Mania against Hogan in the 80s. Oh, he absolutely would have. Or he would have, absolutely, like WrestleMania 4 or something like that would have been like Omos. Hell, he could main event WrestleMania now. Well, maybe not WrestleMania. Maybe that's an exaggeration. He's doing a good job of selling this thing, too. He got hit with that shillelagh, Bulldog with that clothesline, and the crowd is cheering him, getting over a little bit. It says Punk is the locker room leader for the women's locker room. I don't think it turned out well. He ends up getting booking power and started booking like Vince because of his booking preference of Vince. Yeah, it's always an interesting time with old Philip and the girls. DIY versus Pretty Deadly on SmackDown. Why does God hate me? I'm not even looking forward to SmackDown, dog. I'm not even gonna hold you up. I am not looking forward to SmackDown at all. A way of making it. Just like me say said, so apparently Taker said on his podcast that they were in a Middle East tour when Punk said he was as tough as Lashley and Shelton. Around the same time, he was pretending he was a Muay Thai fighter. Oh, buddy. That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, it's Batista. What does he want? I said Booker T got mad at Paul London for having a good match. Of course, he threw his wrist tape on the floor. That bitch. Paul London, something else in there. Says I do miss Vince run WWE. Can you imagine he called up Owen Femi and pushed him to the main event? Man, Owen Femi probably would have got the Batista push, dog. That shit would have been nuts. He's perfect. He's gigantic. He can talk. He's not 40 fucking years old. Islamic State says Punk excuse for hanging around the young women is that he's mentoring them, yet he's never hanging around them. They also look up to him. I think so many of those girls were they're fans of his, they're fans of his wife. Are they? I don't know, man. It's pretty weird. I can tell you that much. We need Sledgehammer for WrestleMania thing. We need like a real good rock thing for WrestleMania. I'm kind of tired of like as much as the weekend is not as terrible to me as he was before, but I just don't need it. No more the weekend, please. He says Punk grew up without a father, so he talked big to all the legends and people with more experience, like they're his sons. Punk never let anyone sign him. Well, I think he did. He just wasn't a fan of the reaction he got. Islamic State says so. All within his debut year, 06, he pissed off Booker T. He said he was a locker room leader and got exposed as a fake fighter. How was he not bullied out of the company? Well, it seemed like they tried to bully him out of the company, but he stuck around. He must have pulled a Miz and survived it. Yeah, very cool Batista. This is Batista before he started. You know, my mom's a lesbian. When the fuck did that happen? Was your mom a lesbian when you were talking about fucking Melina on TV?
Thrill of a life. Thrill of a life every time I walk out that curtain.
I'm a huge fan of Big Dave, though. Especially back then. He's one of the guys who got me back in.
I want to make this real short and sweet so we can get along with the show. I'm here for 3 reasons. First reason I'm here is honestly, I want to see Kurt Angle versus The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. Yes, sir. I want to see that.
Poor Jay went to his UFC meet and greet. That's interesting.
Second reason, definitely not the least important reason, is I just miss it. I miss the Smackdown fans. I miss the crowd. Oh yeah, I miss the Smackdown audience. You have no idea how hard it is to sit my ass on the couch every week watching Smackdown, hearing the roar of the crowd. Oh man, I miss it. It's torture. It's torture. Third reason is it's good to be back. I can't even tell you.
Punk was the effigy of the alternative rock bands when the female wrestlers were the 6 to 12, similar to Cena being the effigy of the G Unit. Interesting.
My torn tricep, it ain't torn anymore.
That's when Mark Henry fucked him up, huh?
Every day, busting my ass every day. And sooner rather than later, I will be back. And honestly, it doesn't matter to me who's world champion, whether it be Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Both men who I respect very much, and I would love to face the World Heavyweight Championship, but it just doesn't matter. Both of them and everybody else, no matter who it is, needs to know one thing. I will be back, and I will reclaim my World Heavyweight title.
A warning from the animal.
He didn't work WrestleMania this year, did he? I don't remember him. Who did he wrestle at 22? I don't think he even wrestled at this show. Unless it was like a Finley or something like that, but I don't think so. That drunk woman right there will do bad things today. In front of that man, she's dancing on. Yeah, I figured he would. I figured he didn't wrestle. So that means he came out there to do this promo for no reason because he didn't even wrestle that year. Yep, I figured he wasn't back yet. WG Phil says, long hair punk, I can understand the googly eyes, but slick back, bald, ugly chest tattoo, Batista. I don't know.
Batista, what is Dom talking about? Who's going to be world champion when he returns from his injury? Well, I can tell you right now, it won't be The Undertaker. Nope. And it won't be you, Kurt. I will be the world champion. Batista returns from his injury. And maybe I'll get a little bit of that respect that I feel that I deserve now. The respect that I don't get from the likes of you. Kurt,
The likes of you.
what's this I hear you telling Ray? Never say never. Don't worry about Orton.
Look how intense Kurt is. He's super intense.
Who the hell do I think I am? I'm Kurt Angle, World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm not even focused on you tonight, man. I'm focused on The Undertaker.
Yeah. Randy came in talking that bullshit.
Well, there's JBL on the WWE.
Because I was talking about Punk then transition to Batista not wrestling. Oh. Yeah, he bleeding all over the place. He need to get that fixed. He in there ballyhooing like a motherfucker. Look at this guy. Oh, here comes Eminem. Or is it just Nitro? Oh, it's Eminem. Just like Mistake says, there was talent on their supposed B brand back then. Then there is an entire company now. Yeah, look at Eminem. Eminem rules as a tag team. They're very good. I hope their opponents don't suck. What do I think of Batista's Illuminati tattoo? All right. It is what it is, man. Matt Hardy and a partner of his choice. Those rat tail coats are hilarious. They look trashy, but I guess that's the point of the gimmick. Yeah, Melina is out of control. She's super hot. Jesus Christ. Good God. This is non-title? Ah. Was this the last time we saw blood post Eddie Guerrero? I don't think so. I think other people have bled hard way on the show. I remember when Brock busted Randy Orton shit open with his forearms. Got Chris Jericho all tight ass. Why is this non-title? I actually thought way too much of Matt Hardy back in those days because it seemed like he had something going for him. And then, you know, they keep reminding you that he's Matt Hardy over and over again. And that Matt Hardy is a joke without Jeff. Yeah, who's his opponent? Who's his partner, I mean? Let me know who his partner is. What? Tatanka? What the hell? What? What the fuck? How did we get here? What do we get here? What is Vince on? What drugs? What drugs made him bring back Tatanka at this point in time to do this? I remember him showing up at the Royal Rumble this year. I didn't remember him having other matches. Everybody's looking like, what is this? Who is this Engine Man? Why did the Chiefs logo come to life all of a sudden? Who is this Seminole out here? This Cleveland Indian. This is unreal. This got to be like 40-some-odd-year-old Tatanka right here. He's old as shit. Jericho versus HBK at American Bash 08 led to a blood ban. Yeah, that was after this, though. I think Jericho was leaking at that show. He's pretty crazy. But Vince was never a huge fan of blood anyway, but he only used it as he was never a fan of it in the 80s either. There was not a lot of blood in the 80s. There was blood, but there wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of blood in the 90s either. Vince was never a huge fan of the blood. I think the Attitude Era was probably the time where there was the most blood in WWE. Like, blood was very sporadic in WWE in the 80s and 90s. WG feels that I'd love to go back in time and show a picture of current Batista to this crowd. I want to show a picture of current Batista to past Batista. Like, this is what you turned into. And you talk about your mom as a lesbian. What the hell is wrong with you? What happened to you? You used to be cool. Just like Mistake says, Vince doesn't like edgy wrestling in general. He only did it to outcompete WCW. He prefers family-friendly cartoon wrestling. Yeah, ultimately, that's really his whole thing. He was never a big fan of blading. Now, he was being a hypocrite when he was talking about it in the newspapers and stuff because WCW was doing it. But he was never a huge fan of the blade. There's a lot of matches in like the 80s and stuff that would have benefited from blood. But he didn't go there. Just think about it, WrestleMania, what was that? 6? Warrior and Savage? If Savage would have bled in that match, the match would have been better. But he very sparingly used the blade. Well, Tataki is from North Carolina, so I guess that makes sense. Batista aged worse than Megan Fox. Well, she drank blood, so she probably definitely looks worse. She's a vampire bitch. AJ3, do you think wrestling should be for the kids? I definitely think, because the kids believe in it. So yes, I've been in plenty of crowds where kids believe what they see, and they're the purest fans. So I do think that there should be some kid-friendly wrestling. I absolutely think it should be kid-friendly. I think the worst thing you could do is run the kids off, because then you kill the business at that point. Because the adults and the teenagers are so fucking fickle. They chase trends and they try to impress each other. So, but the kids, they attach themselves to the characters and they go with that. They don't care. Again, the kids don't care that Jey Uso isn't the best wrestler in the world. They don't care. Oh shit. He said wrestling should be aimed at teenagers and frat boys. I don't think so. Those people are too fickle. Anything that aims at teenagers and frat boys, they eventually grow out of it. I mean, kids grow out of wrestling and stuff too, but they're not as fickle as those teenagers. And they also, teenagers and frat boys, they're too sensitive about what girls like. They too often they'll let a girl basically curate what they listen to. You know, how many times have you heard, you don't listen to that in the car with the hose? And if something is seen as uncool by the hose, then people will not participate in it. Which is why so many guys, you know, try to cover up that they love to play video games or read comic books or watch wrestling and stuff. Not because they're embarrassed of it, because they don't want girls to know. They don't want girls to think that they're losers or lames or whatever. I definitely think wrestling should be family friendly. And the problem is not that the kids like edgy content or not. It's about whether the parents like edgy content or not. They don't. The kids, whether the kids like it or not. I mean, the kids love, like, Grand Theft Auto, but they can't buy it. So it doesn't matter what they like at that point. They can't spend their own money on it. Their parents has to spend their money on it. And the wine moms, they're not going to spend money on a wrestling show if there's a lot of cussing and bleeding and a bunch of other dumb shit like that on there. An overly sexual product, you're not going to spend money on it. So you gotta adapt. Hologram and Mystico at WrestleMania 60. I don't think Mystico's gonna make it. I don't think he's gonna be there. I think he's already in his 40s. Just like Mercedes said, the more goofy wrestling became after 08, the older its audience became, because it just appealed to neckbeards. Kids like the edgy stuff because they want to look cool to their friends. Well, they actually just take things that are cool. Now, when you mean like the older the audience became, it's like, nah, WWE's audience has always been young. The issue that people keep thinking is that what Meltzer says. Look at how old the audience is on the Nielsen thing. But if you look in the crowd, it's still a bunch of fucking kids. That's never been the issue. Because kids don't really count in the Nielsen thing anyway. That's basically households. But as long as the video games and stuff still sell and everything works out, it'll be great. But the partnerships with people like Mattel and stuff like that is almost always based on WWE not producing an edgy product that's going to get it canceled by parents groups and stuff. There's just way too much. There's just way too much evidence, and I didn't even scratch the surface on all the videos that I've done on parents groups, psychologists, sociologists, all these people that have specifically railed against the Attitude Era. I haven't even scratched the surface. you know. And even if that stuff doesn't affect Vince and he don't give a fuck, it affected the sponsors and the advertisers. It affected the TV networks. Those people pay attention to that kind of stuff. They pay to get that kind of information. And what good is your product if you can't monetize it? Ultimately. And by monetize it, I mean not just that people pay you for it, but also pay to use your characters, to see your characters, etc. I can't believe we got like a 10-minute Tatanka match going on here. Damn, they was out of position. WG Phil said that I think the My Mom's a Lesbian was always considering one of his first spurg outs on Twitter for 2008 2010. They even got a tattoo to honor Manny after he made homophobic remarks. Yeah, he stopped being friends with Manny Pacquiao. That was weird. That's when I kind of figured he was broken. I figured he was buck broken at that point in time. When you stop being friends with somebody over something like that, I think you're beyond the pale. He said more girls will watch wrestling if it had masculine men, though. Women watch The Rock and Steve Austin because they wanted to bang them. They don't care about girl wrestlers. Tomboys care about girl wrestlers, but most of them don't. And I agree with you on that. Women like seeing hot guys, just like men like seeing hot girls. Roman Reigns has done crazy things to the female audience, so it works. But also, they get attached to the drama and the storytelling. You know, like I said, the biggest booster of the female audience has been Total Divas. I mean, people might hate it, but that's been the biggest boon to female wrestling is the reality TV market. I can't believe Tatanka hasn't exploded by this point in time. He bringing that straight '90s cartoon shit to the stage, baby. I fucks with it. Oh my God, they just lost. Oof, oof, that's weird. Oh, that's weird. And Tatanka got the pin though. That's odd. Ooh, what an odd decision that is. Fuck you, Joey Mercury. WG Fields businesses should recognize that young boys 5 to 18 is the lifeline of their business. Those kids grow up, don't have kids, and become marks of their favorite property, leading to black and gold. Ah, yeah, you would think so. It becomes the thing is, man, a lot of boys they don't realize that everything has been taken away from them. The Marvel franchises, wrestling is like one of the last things they got, man. That's one of the last things that's boy centered. Even though there's a lot of girls now in wrestling and stuff, it's still a male centered business, and it's pretty much the only one left. You don't get cool action adventure stories for young boys anymore. No cool action adventure comics or novels or anything for boys anymore. So that's why they all love shonen anime, because it's actually for boys. That's unreal. They just had Tatanka win a match. I can't believe this. X9 says he knew wrestling was fake like a year into his fandom. Yeah, that's pretty obvious at that point. I was 6 when I started watching this stuff, so I really didn't get it. It didn't really kick in until I was like 11. Even though I had like my boy Young Sturts, he's been on this channel a couple of times. His brother kept trying to spoil the business for us. I don't know if he went to work or school or something like that. and he brought back a list of computer paper with all the wrestlers' real names on it. Like, these aren't even their real names. And I remember telling him, like, yo, you think Andre 3000 is Andre 3000's real name? Because he used to love Outkast. We weren't big fans of Outkast at the time. I was like, Big Boy's real name ain't Big Boy. Shit. But it didn't really kick in until, eventually as a kid, you just kind of grow into realizing that it's not real. Especially when if you start watching other things like football and boxing and stuff like that, it becomes obvious at that point. But then if you're a fan, it don't really matter. That's the one thing that people don't really get. Is it doesn't matter once you become a fan, whether it's real or not. It's not about whether you believe it. Did I check out the Legends and Future Great special WWE premiere? I did not. I did not watch it. I completely forgot about it, to be quite honest. I'm actually... Oh, that's a tremendous story. Randy Orton won the belt for Booker T. That's amazing. This was the beginning of his King Booker push. He got saddled with the Boogeyman at WrestleMania, though. That wasn't fun, I'm pretty sure. Still throbbing like hell. Oh, hell no. Anyway, WG Phil said that's why Power Rangers, Star Wars, Disney is in dire straits to gain a new audience. It's just dudes who watch the initial waves and haven't grown up or had kids to pass down the fandom. See you later, X9. It's not even that. It's just that passing down the fandom to your kids is not even really relevant. The thing is, they've changed the product so much that it doesn't appeal to people anymore. So people are not interested in watching this shit. There's so many people who are Star Wars fans that were born 10, 20 years after the first movies came out. But you don't see that happening a lot these days. There's not a lot of kids that are into Star Wars. That's why they can't sell any merchandise. I haven't watched like World Class Bullshitters in forever, but one of the best things they ever did was they used to go to Walmart or Target and look and see if those action figures and those model sets and stuff like that are selling. People start doing that with AEW stuff too. Benoit, Rude, and Rhino got some small arms. I think that's basically that the roids and jacked them up with their arms. Their arms are very short. But Rhino and Benoit is very obvious. I look forward to this because I'm a huge fan of Booker T. Booker T in a suit, my God. Oh, people are standing up for this guy. My thing is, if you make a product that's easy for people to understand and to get into, people will understand it and get into it. But if you keep shitting all over it and trying to ruin it, then it'll run out of business. I mean, it's like sometimes a property just ages out. Like I was watching Casually Comics earlier, and she was talking about Dick Tracy. I'm a big fan of Dick Tracy. I've never read the comic strips, but I've read like comic books off and on. And of course, I've watched the movie. But Dick Tracy is one of those things that it just got old. It's a comic strip that started in the 30s. I was born in 1984. I had little very little experience with it, very little exposure to it. The one exposure I did have was the movie in 1990. It had no sequel. And there was a cartoon, but it didn't seem to run very long. And the franchise died on the vine. You know, it's not that they did something to the franchise that ruined it, but then you also had a situation where the things that made Dick Tracy novel wasn't realistic anymore. It just didn't work anymore. Other people started doing it and started doing it better. I mean, what Dick Tracy worked, you started seeing Daredevil and Batman and Shadow and all them kind of take the ball and run with it. So it's just a part of the franchise being cut off and running with it and running with pieces of it. But what's happening now with these franchises isn't that they're becoming obsolete. It's that they're being smothered in smothered in the bed. You know, even something like He-Man, it's just being outright killed. Like when you make a cartoon called He-Man and then you kill He-Man in the first episode, you're killing the franchise.
See, there will not be a United States Championship match tonight. Come on. Talking about.
Booker T on some bullshit.
Come on out here, man. Say Benoit, I can beat you any day of the week, man. When I'm healthy.
When I'm healthy.
Back to 7, I was up 3-0 about to finish you, man. When I was healthy. See, but tonight I ain't healthy. People know it. I'm not healthy.
I'm not healthy.
Here comes Theodore Long, and I have no idea what we're talking about. He said the match is not going to take place. Kill that dude.
Teddy Long's suit is way too big for his body. Look at this shit.
Teddy Long, since you out here, we're going to make this official, man. See, tonight, I'm going to forfeit the United States Championship. Come on, forfeit it.
Ah, come on.
That's right. Benoit, you happy now? That's right. I'm going to forfeit.
He looks so concerned.
Championship.
That's disrespectful. He's gonna hand him the belt. But you know he's wearing his gear, so he's clearly gonna fight him, right? Gloves and everything. He's definitely gonna fight him.
I can't believe this. That United States title means so much to this guy. General Manager Long trying to figure out what's going on. He's looking the wait a minute. Coward!
Oh no, they ain't gonna try to play Book like this. Book went to the pen. You can't play him like this.
So get your ass back in here and take defeat like a man.
That's what guts is all about. Yeah, guts. That's something, all right. Oh no, she didn't smack this man. Look at Teddy Long is he should have came back with a weapon. Oh, this is great. This is what I'm talking about right here. Ooh, shit, he chopping the shit out of them. WG Phil says, well, Star Wars was mostly carried because they had a strong presence with action figures, animated series, and video games with the prequel trilogy. Well, yeah, it was popular. People liked that stuff. And other people got into it because they saw that other people liked it. Mostly people now are memeing on how much they hate Star Wars. So that's basically going to create a situation where most people are not going to be interested in Star Wars. Look, all the people who are doing the I love Star Wars shit, they don't really buy the products or watch the products or anything like that. It's all bullshit. And then the more we learn about government corruption and everything, it's probably all bought and paid for. So it's not even real. Like all these LGBT comics that nobody buys, all these cartoons and shit that Netflix end up paying for that nobody watches. All this shit is bullshit, man. And it's killing these franchises. It's killing these networks too. But they just don't get it. That backlash is gonna be nuts. When the rubber band breaks and these people are tired of losing money, it's gonna be real sad. And it's gonna be real sad. AJ3 says on the Thunder Rosa spot, the word is that Thunder Rosa had backstage heat. Whatever one, that's why Megan Bain and Penelope Ford didn't sell for her. Heat or no heat, you only make yourself look stupid. Do your job, because they look just as dumb as she did. WG Phil says WBCS goes to Allies and Ross. Ollie's, yes, and Ross. And you can see Marvel Legends from the Eternals Wakanda Forever sitting at Ollie's on a third markdown. That's the best place to go and get comic books. You go in there, you find a bunch of. I always got like all the modern Batman that I have. I got out of Ollie's. Speaking of which, I should go to Ollie's tomorrow. It's too cold though. It's cold as shit outside, man. It's cold than a motherfucker, and it's snowing in the bitch too. But I haven't been to Ollie's in months. $25 to $30. Now it's $8. Yeah, it's still too much. It's still over much. Sounds like nose man. I forgot how Benoit's voice sounds too. I haven't heard of his voice in forever. He said Booker and Benoit were in the same color palette. They are. One of the wrestlers get upset if they wear the same gears. I don't understand. They probably had to talk about this before. But they look so different already. I guess it wouldn't matter. Usually you want to be as distinctive as possible. He said they're bringing back Malcolm in the Middle and making one of the brothers non-binary. That sounds stupid. What a dumb show that is anyway. Have you ever visited Nebraska? No, but that's like a perfect place to go and just be. Like if you wanted to get away from Earth, Nebraska seems like the perfect place to go. Like if I committed a crime, I would go to like Nebraska or Iowa or something like that. This seems like the perfect place you can get away from. If I commit a murder, if I'm ever in Nebraska and it ain't to get some money, please believe I'd have murdered somebody. And I'm just trying to get away from it. Or rob the bank or something like that. And I'm just trying to vanish off the face of the earth. Nebraska, Wyoming, all these places, they exist for witness protection programs, you know. That's what they exist for. That's where you go hide people. You hide people in Arkansas. And either you were born there or you're placed there by the feds. I don't believe anybody actually just goes to Arkansas because they want to. WG Phil says we had snow in my area. School was canceled yesterday and today. There's parts of this city that flooded and froze. So there's like Southwest Detroit where all the Hispanics live. Man, it's bad over there because they had a water main break and then the street flooded and then the shit froze because it started snowing all over. It's been awful. It's the shit. It's not that bad where I live though. It's still cold and it's snowy though, so I like to minimize my time outside if I can. If there's no need for me to leave, I don't really want to. But I also don't like spending multiple days in the house. Like I'm a homebody. I don't like to do too much, but I still like if I'm not at work in the middle of the day, I need to go do something, you know. So I'll go to like a comic book store, or I'll go to like a bookstore or something like that, just so I have something to do during the day and not just be sitting in the house. But it's too cold to travel. It's too cold to do anything. Big Boss says your thoughts about women's division frustrated. I saw that tweet. I'm not sure if I do believe that they probably talked to somebody who is frustrated. Because there's always one or two people who are frustrated, one or two people who are upset about the state of something or other. But yeah, it's actually a good point to be made. The women's division in WWE, it sucks. It sucks. I mean, you can't even argue that it doesn't suck. You can blame the girls, but the booking has been terrible. Even the girls that Vince was booking well, Triple H has not booked them well. Part of this problem is that Triple H gives these people too much time off. Rhea Ripley has one match on Raw in a year or something like that. That's nonsense. She spent most of that time injured, and now she's on honeymoon. It's like, what the fuck? Is she Brock Lesnar? She got a Brock Lesnar schedule. And then they said that they cut off the live shows during the week. So pretty much they only work Raw. So like, what the fuck? Come on, man. Pretty crazy. Ain't no party like manga. Oh boy. Hold up now. AJ3 said they're running out of ideas and the American people starting to notice. They said no more, but these franchises don't care. They still believe in whole go woke or go broke till death. Well, I think there's these two schools of thought. The Razor Fist school of thought is that these companies were broke anyway and they're going woke to get money, which actually is supported if you think that they're being funded by the government or NGOs or something, which they are. The get woke go broke thing is like they've been taken over. The institutions have been taken over by crazy Marxists, and they want to destroy everything. But that's also true. So it's basically a take your pick. But I'm more of the belief that a lot of these people are having their losses covered. I wouldn't be surprised if GLAAD doesn't pay for all this gay propaganda. Just like the NAACP and all these groups. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they don't take donations and then spread that money around to keep the propaganda going. Because they know this stuff is not going to make any money, and yet it keeps getting made. Nobody is that dedicated to it. So that tells you that the audience is not the people who are supposed to buy it. The audience is the people who are buying it, who are paying for it. So there that is. Once I learned that from a boxing reporter that boxing is not for the fans, boxing is for the sponsors, everything started to make sense. The cost of tickets to go to a fight skyrocketed. And then you realize, holy shit, the same thing happened with the NBA, same thing happened in the NFL, same thing happened with pro wrestling and the UFC. All the tickets to these events are skyrocketing, just as the sponsorships and all that kind of stuff increases, which should, in effect, bring the prices to the tickets down because they don't necessarily need you to be there anymore to make a profit. But the ticket prices have gone up. So what that means is clearly they're expecting that they are going to make a profit whether you're there or not. Otherwise, they drop the prices. But they're not going to. That means that pretty much all the losses are already covered by sponsors and stuff. And once you realize that, you realize you don't really live in a capitalist system because the consumer is a different person. It's not the frontline consumer. It's a different consumer. And they're creating propaganda mostly. So whether it's USAID or some NGO or somewhere, somebody's paying for them to make this shit and do all this stuff and lose all this money. Because there was a time in a day where if a writer made a bad movie or a director made a bad movie, that could ruin his career. Not anymore. You'll get chance after chance after chance. Well, clearly somebody's paying for it. You got a patron of some kind. WG Field says you now have fast foods, walking between classes, getting flooded in the rain. Oh God, it's too cold for that. Degenerate Shine Gun says if you don't like hip hop, does that make you a racist or a coon? Like if you look down on it. I saw that dumb woman say that. No, people have different tastes. Not everybody has to like the same thing. What they're telling you is the only reason you would not like rap music is if you don't like black people, which is irrelevant because white people rap for starters. Secondly, black people make other kinds of music. So this is not. Look at the bug eyes on Booker T with these chops. But literally, they make other kinds of music. So if somebody doesn't like rap, like Jim Cornette is a perfect example. He doesn't like rap, but he likes Earth, Wind, and Fire, or in all the sort of 70s bands or whatever that happen to be all black. How is he racist because he doesn't want to like listen to rap? That's crazy. That's just insane thinking, you know? And plus, people don't have to like you. My God. There's these people who are obsessed with being liked. WG Phil says the women's division being frustrated doesn't know how we feel having non-attractive women watch wrestling, like men botching every part. Yeah, I mean, Zoe Stark is complaining. Well, she needs to listen to my complaints. Somebody wants to see that trick. He said Jaguar Wright went to Mar-a-Lago to receive an award from Donald Trump for speaking her truth and standing 10 tones down on what she believes in. That ain't gonna do nothing but incentivize her to keep being messy and loud and the black Alex Jones. I can't stand that broad. And Droney says, I could care less about the women being upset in WWE. They don't draw. It's not like they try to do anything to inspire innovation in WWE. Let their talent speak. All they do is cry online. Yeah, I mean, leaking shit to dirt sheets is not going to get you booked. I can tell you that much. Sean Ross Sapp has zero pull in Stanford. So I don't think that anybody going to give a shit about that at all, brother. Nobody cares. Hell of a spin kick there by Booker T. He's going for the mental drop kick now. Yeah, creatively bankrupt Hollywood. Bunch of weirdos, man. I can't stand them. Just Simon State says we haven't had a good women's division since 2006. Well, the women's division it's been hit or miss for years and years. It all depends on the women that's in it. Big Boss said, "Ooh, that was a nice superplex." Remember people say under Triple H, everybody happy. That's Cap. Oh, it's been Cap forever. Because when a new boss take over, clearly there's going to be people who are not going to be happy. Again, that's not true because Brock basically quit as soon as Vince got released, right? As soon as Vince left, Brock was like, he goes, I'll go. And everybody was like, oh no, what the hell? Then he came back for a little while, and then that Janelle Grant shit happened. WG Phil says apparently Disney has been editing their disclaimers on Disney Plus and shut down their DEI initiative tomorrow for theme parks. Here's what they do. We're not stupid. They're just going to call it something else. They caught the University of Michigan doing that. They got rid of the DEI department, but they created a community culture department that has the exact same people with the exact same mission. Nothing changed. So no, just because people say that you're going to get rid of DEI, that don't mean anything. Unless those people who are in that department get released, then just expect them to redirect that stuff towards a different initiative that's going to be the same. Just Islamic State says, if someone told you when you were younger that this is what the future will look like, would you be disappointed? Yes, I would, because when I was a kid, man, I thought we were going to have flying cars because that's what I saw on TV. You know, I thought that there was going to be flying cars. I thought we were going to have like those materializers from Star Trek. You know, we're getting closer with 3D printers, but I thought we'd have more technology and that we'd be further along. Like our technology is still great, much better than when I was younger. But you can also tell that a lot of our technology has been dumbed down due to different political agendas. Like we probably all would be driving electric cars if it wasn't for the green energy folks getting involved and forcing unions and all kinds of standards on everybody. We might all have flying cars or self-driving automobiles or something like that by now. And there's a lot of things we probably could have by now if it wasn't for people standing in the way of progress. He said Disney got rid of the trigger warnings. Well, that's the bare minimum. I'm glad to see that. I always loved that Booker T roll through like that. That was pretty dope. Look at. Oh no! Ah! Oh, sharpshooter. Come on, Book. Come on, Book. Oh no! Holy shit! Oh no! Oh, he tapped out immediately in that joint. Man. Oh shit. That was a good match though. They work well together. I don't think they've had any bad matches. Probably just too many matches. Degenerate Sharingan says, can't lie, Jaguar Wright is basically just controlled opposition. She's a conspiracy theorist, and she peddles in gossip and conspiracy theory. And I don't trust anything she says because she's still alive. So if she's really got all this information, she would have been, taken care of by now. But whenever somebody is quote unquote speaking the truth and nothing bad ever happens to them, I really am deeply concerned about how true what they're saying is. I mean, look at what happens when you start actually telling the truth. There's backlash. They bankrupted Alex Jones because he said something that they disagree with, whether it was true or not. But the point was the process is the punishment. It's dragging you into court, making you fight for every penny, destroying everything that you built. That's part of the punishment. None of that stuff happens to Jaguar Wright. She never gets sued. and nothing ever happens to her. So I kind of question whether what she's saying is true or not. I hate that this was the end for Booker T in this role. He ended up with Boogeyman the next month, which sucks. But at least he was on the show, I guess. AJ3 feels bad for Zoe Stark because Triple H has tried hard to make her something. She is she's the Johnny Gargano of female wrestlers. She's a loser. That's very unfortunate. Who is the bigger prick between Brian Zane and Sean Ross Sapp? Well, you know what? Brian Zane is completely avoidable. There's just no reason to consume his content. But some of the stuff that I've seen him do has been pretty generically evil. Oh my God. He jumped in that man's arms. Oh my goodness. He's squeezing the life out of Ray. I love you, man. This is the U.S. title he just won here, for God's sake. They would never do nothing like this today. All these guys showing up to give Benoit a big old handshake. Oh, it's old Pat Patterson. Watch your butt cheeks, Benoit. This is the seed that they planted. Benoit would lose the U.S. title to Chavo Guerrero later this year. I don't think it was the same run, but that's when they tried to make Chavo something, which was a huge mistake. AJ3 says failed when he called her up. He paired her with Trish and failed. He gave her countless championship opportunities and failed to put her in a tag team. Failed one more. What can he do? She's no good. That's just it. She's a mechanic. She should be like somebody's heavy or something, I guess. But no, it's just not working out. That after that whole thing with Trish Stratus, I think that was it. I think he finally got it in his head that it's not going to work out for Zoe Stark. Johnny Autism Wrestling says, say his name and he appears. I don't believe in Tony Khan. I don't believe in Tony Khan, but the Virgin loves Tony Khan booking. Wave your hands from side to side and say, I don't believe in Tony. I don't know, man. I say he got booed and he earned those boos. Man, this show is almost over already, huh? Oh, it's like an hour and 10 minutes left. This show is pretty fucking solid. Outside of the first match, which I didn't care about, if there's just these two matches left, I don't know what they're about to slide in between. Because I know Vince about to have both these matches be 30 minutes. WG Phil says, but I do give Marvel credit for firing Victoria Alonso after the failures of 2023 movies and Ant-Man and the Marvels. It's not enough. It's not enough, man. I think they've done irreparable damage to the product too. Because the TV shows were so bad, the movies were so bad, and then also people got the catharsis. They got that. They never had a villain that matches Thanos' aura, his level of intrigue, and so that apology doesn't even work because you're not putting out better product now. Nobody cares. So not only is the product woke, but it's just plain bad. It's not working. Just like Mistake says, my respect for Michael Cole went up recently when I saw him on Impulsive, and he said he never denigrate Vince over everything he done for him. I'm starting to think that that's code for people that don't believe the accusations. Is I'll never denigrate Vince. He's my friend. That's code for I don't believe that bitch. But they can't just say I don't believe that. Whoa, that was a cold line. That kick was nowhere near the nuts, by the way. It's like in the thigh. But you know, it's also the right thing to do when somebody helps you through life. What did I tell you guys before? Liberals are very low in loyalty. They can't understand it. It makes their brain short circuit. For them, it's all about power. It's never about, you know, actually caring about anybody. So when you see that a liberal is being loyal to somebody, either they're actual true believer, which is very rare, they're being paid, which is actually more likely, or they think that it doesn't matter and they're holding on to it for the purpose of power. WG Fields says, I also give credit for Marvel for giving the White Fantastic Four, I expected the Human Torch or the Thing to be black because the Hamilton black guy was auditioning for the role and an Indian auditioned for Reed. Just like State is annoyed when wrestlers choose careers whose careers were made by Vince. Cough Bret Hart, who shit on Vince despite everything he did for them. Well, you got to know that Bret loves being virtuous. So he's like one of those people that very easily turn on anybody. He's in a very weird space, but that's why people like Bret, because they think he's like the moral paragon of things. They should repurpose this theme song and give it to somebody else. Big Boss says NXT feels like WrestleMania season compared to the main roster. Yeah, they actually doing shit. They putting in work. They building up to Stand and Deliver. I don't even know when that is. Yeah, they took LeBron Ball's foot. That's sad, man. I saw a picture. He was smiling, so he seemed to be in good spirit. I don't think I'd be in a good spirit. They took my foot, man. I'd be in the dumps. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Just might as well go ahead and give me the depression meds, bro. I'm fucked. I'm cooked. Just Islamic State says, don't know if it's true, but I heard Brian Zane is one of those people who takes his kids to drag shows. So yeah, weird guy. If you think that he's having butt babies, I'll be surprised. When somebody is as woke and effeminate as Brian Zane, I don't believe his kids are actually his. So I just don't believe a woman is bumping uglies with somebody like that. Unless she's going to divorce him and take all his money. Sean Ross Sapp for sure. Dude pretty much lied on a smaller wrestling content creator. I don't know the story of that. WG Phil said, well, didn't they do that congratulatory slob fest to Cody? Yeah, I mean, that was like one of the few times they've done something like that. But I think, yeah, that was a pretty big moment. Cause, you know, Cody wanted to have his Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit finish the story. Everybody flood the ring. That was very egregious. But I like celebrations. I do. Like when Hogan won the belt and he got covered in champagne, that rule. We should see more celebrations of people winning titles. And not just in-ring celebrations, but backstage with their friends or whatever. That's fun content that people would like to see. Like everybody's favorite celebration is Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair after Royal Rumble '92. A tear in my eye. With Bobby Heenan back there, and they're all just fat cats grinning, having fun. That was great. We need more of that stuff. I think every title switch should have it. Every major title switch. WG Phil says the only thing that would save the MCU is the X-Men. Would you accept the MCU X-Men if they do First Class? You'll get a redhead Jean Grey, but you'll get Black Beast or Cyclops. would you accept? I probably will still wouldn't watch it. There've been so many bad X-Men movies now, man. I didn't even mind the first X-Men film, but there's been so many bad X-Men movies now. I don't trust it. I just don't trust Marvel anymore, comics or movies. So even if I see a Marvel comic book that I kind of like, I trade wait, and then I'll consider buying the trade. Like I like the Moon Knight series that's going on, or the Moon Knight series that was going on. I'm always looking at Daredevil to see if Daredevil is good because that's one of my favorite characters. Right now they got him fighting monsters or some shit, which is not. I don't like that. I like crime noir Daredevil. Oh, here's the second person that told me that The Rock is going to be on Smackdown tomorrow. I said I believe it when I see it. He said not to offend anyone, but he's from the Pacific Northwest. So he's from like from Seattle or Portland or something like that. Ugh. Yeah, he's most definitely buying dildos for personal use. What did you think about the Megan Bang Thunder Roaster awkward moment? Follow the product. I even put out a clip on that. I don't know how clips work. I really don't. Like, I thought as soon as you clip something out, it automatically posts, and then I see that you have to post it. I'm like, oh, okay. But I talked about it on the review. Ginger Shining Guy says, I would say this Sean Ross Sapp had a feud with Millennial Smart, but I don't feel like getting down that. Oh yeah, I did. I saw that. I didn't know that's what you was talking about, but yeah, I saw that. That was Brian Zane was involved with that too. That guy. What a dork. Both of them are dorks. Randy took a hell of a bump. Young Randy was so much fun. He's a Ninja Turtle now, though. AJ3 says, no matter how many executive orders Donald Trump signs, DEI isn't completely destroyed. Another 4 years of normalcy wasted. It'll never be destroyed. I think it's permanent now. The only way to destroy it is to defund it completely. And I'm telling you what's going to happen is Trump's going to sign all these executive orders. And the tactic is going to be to drag him into court for every little thing. Get some small victories, or if you do lose, you take so long to lose that it won't matter. And then once those 4 years are up, the Uniparty is back in control and you just turn everything back on again. So unless he just completely dissolves a lot of these things completely, which is what we want, but he's probably going to need legislative power to do it, or bring their budgets down to zero so they can't function. But as soon as he leaves, they just turn the spigot back on again. That's the plan. The plan is to get him in the courts, drag everything out, make everything take forever, so nothing actually gets done. And then as soon as he's out of office, turn the spigot back on. And regardless of whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, we go right back to funding all the shit we were funding before. DEI and wokeness comes all the way back, except for they might be smarter next time and start putting it in the law. So there you go. I don't believe at all that Trump's winning. I think that it just looks like he's winning. It's not winning until he actually closes a lot of these doors, and they can't turn the money machine back on. But it's only been 3 weeks, so who knows? And who knows what'll happen in 4 years? But he should have known, because this is how they operate. The president is all powerful when they have it, and they don't seem to care. And then as soon as they lose the presidency, they start crying about tyrants. Congress is all powerful until they lose Congress, Then they started complaining about oligarchs and all this money and politics and all that bullshit. The judicial system is all powerful, equal branch of government. Until the judicial branch makes decisions that they don't like, then it's, oh, who has all these unelected kings in robes. That's why it's no surprise that these people are forum shopping, finding judges in Rhode Island and Maine to gum up the works, because it doesn't matter. The whole point is to drag him in court and try to get what they call pauses. So they're trying to get Doge pause. They can't. They haven't figured out how to stop it, but they want to get it to stop doing what it's doing. Stop exposing where they've been spending money for all these years, and then they're gonna break out some kind of scandal like Elon's new baby, and just to distract you from what's been going on at this time. Like when that woman came out and said that she had Elon's baby, this was a distraction, because that's all people talked about for 3 days. All the money they spending on transgender comic books just flew over people's heads. Now we've got to talk about Elon's new baby. Who cares? But that's what they've been doing. And they've been doing this stuff successfully for years. I say Elon Musk needs to get whatever he's going to get out of this system too, because he's done for. They're going to destroy everything Elon is involved with after this. And he better be prepared, because he's not going to get any more government contracts. He's going to be investigated by every fucking government agency, from the FBI to the USDA, even though they ain't got nothing to do with meat. They're going to have everybody up his ass. The IRS, everybody. The ATF going to be dropping by his house. They're going to ruin his life. The only thing I can say is they was already on his head. They was already on his ass. That's why he had to jump into the ring and start doing political stuff. It's because they was already attacking him for buying Twitter. But please believe, if the Uniparty and all these guys get back in control and Trump doesn't stop doing all this stuff that he's exposing, Elon Musk's going to end up in fucking prison by 2030. They're going to find some reason to throw his ass in jail. Mark Force says, when you talked about the Marvel shows, I loved Luke Cage. Sadly, it got canned for season 2. I did. I liked Luke Cage as well. I even liked the second season. I thought the second season was pretty good. Sean Ross Sapp seems like someone who would get a Me Too in a few years. I'm surprised he ain't already got one. Just like me say, wouldn't it be surprised if they try to assassinate Trump, since he's pushing to end the war in Ukraine, apparently wants to withdraw the U.S. from South Korea and Taiwan. I think these are negotiation tactics. Well, the Ukraine thing, I think he's pretty much done with them. And a lot of people are done with them. But the South Korea and Taiwan thing, I'm thinking that's mostly negotiation tactics. Because there's no way you want, because as much as Trump talks about China, he's going to let them take Taiwan? No, I don't think so. Do you think Vance is a uniparty asset, or is he going forward? I think he's gone so far that he might be a true believer. But I don't think they'll let him get in office. He's too much of a normal guy. I like J.D. Vance, though. I like the Hillbilly Elegy. I read the book. I thought he's a very interesting guy, great story. He doesn't seem to really do anything illegal, but he's not like a larger-than-life persona. And he also has a lot of boomer conservative beliefs, very much a mixture of Trump and Daily Wire. And that Daily Wire-ish is what's going to turn some people off. Some of the people who really like Trump, they're really going to kind of be turned off by the Matt Walsh Uh, and then there's going to be people who are going to be upset because he got an Indian wife. So. But Vance might actually be. He might actually be better in some areas than Trump because he's a more subdued. He's less temperamental. He's less likely to to start fires, even though he went over in Germany and started the problem. But I don't think they'll let J.D. Vance win an election. I know, man. Look, watching a young Randy Orton again, you forget how good he was, especially at selling and how he moves. Around 2018, that was it for Randy. He started chilling. That's when he started putting on an immaculate amount of muscle. But this is peak Randy Orton right here. 05, 06, 07, up to 09. In the Viper days is when he was gone. He was in a different stratosphere at that point. He said they arrest people in Germany for insulting politicians online. They don't have free speech in Europe. I mean, that's just how it is. They don't have free speech in Canada. This is what they want for the United States. They want the United States to be like Canada, to be like England, to be like Germany, where you have basically blasphemy laws where you can't, talk trash to politicians or trans people or people of other countries or illegal aliens or whatever. Like, that's part of the reason why Europe is so crazy, is because they throw people in jail just for saying we don't want illegal immigration. They throw people in prison. You don't even get to debate the issue. They throw you in jail. They literally just pass a law saying you can't say that and then throw you in prison. And I say it's one of the truly saddest things in the world too. I don't want to talk about white people like they're a victim class or anything, but it's factual information that the Irish do not exist anywhere else outside of Ireland. What happens when you overrun Ireland with Arabs and Africans? You have no more Irish. That's an entire ethnic group wiped out. They don't exist. They will cease to exist. The same thing with the Welsh. Those people will no longer exist. And they're doing it to themselves. So, ooh wee, that's a great power bomb. These two is having a hell of a match here. WG Phil says, do you think Vivek would be Vance's running mate? McConnell isn't doing another term. Well, he's a dinosaur. I think, everybody in Congress over the age of 70 probably should just go have a seat. I'm not even gonna lie. I can't think of a congressman over 70 that I think should stick around. But then again, a lot of the younger ones are even worse. So basically, J.D. Vance is another millennial conservative. Yeah, I mean, he lives in a world that's already been dominated by things like gay marriage, and part of the boomer conservative concept is that you continue to fight on these battles that have already been lost. It's like the whole gay marriage thing is already lost. Just give up on that. Just focus on getting the government out of your personal life. But Randy is busted open. What happened to him? Just like Mistake says, Tim Walz explicitly said in the debate that free speech didn't extend to hate speech and misinformation. 75 million people voted for an anti-free speech candidate. Yeah, and that's when you need to realize that it's Some people think they're living in 1984. It's like you're living in Fahrenheit 451. It's these people who want you to stop saying things that are mean. Stop reading books that they don't appreciate. Stop watching TV shows that they don't want you to watch. That's what's going on here. Of course, 75 million. Whoa, that was a weird bump. These people are voting for their own censure because they in their minds believe that they're going to get to decide what's misinformation and what's hate speech because they always have. If the right started deciding what was hate speech and banning it in there where they live, like, you know, stuff like this black woman playing Jesus Christ. If they started saying like, okay, that's hate speech or that's misinformation, Jesus was not a black woman, even though it's like, you know, it's a fictional play or whatever, but making a big deal out of it and getting this kind of shit shut down off of being misinformation, they understand all about why the government shouldn't control speech. But conservatives won't do it. And they shouldn't do it, if we're being honest. Because I don't want anybody having that amount of power and authority. Is TNA live again tonight? Because I heard the Colognes was there. I heard Obafemi was there. Legend Killer Randy is Prime Randy. I agree. That's when he's figuring it all out. He was in his physical prime. So Europe and Australia is far left. Man, every Western country is far left. Every single one. There are no Western countries that are right wing. Even if they have quote unquote right wing governments. 1, 2, and 3. Oh wait. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, this has been a very good pay-per-view so far. Look at the cheap way that he won. I didn't like the next step that they played here because they basically pitied Ray and gave him his title shot back, which I didn't like. It should have made him earn it back. Like, made Randy put it on the line, and then he beat Randy to get it back. Turn it into a triple threat match, I thought was kind of cheap. If I was in the writer's room, I definitely would have said, man, you can't do that to Ray. I'm okay with him losing his title shot, but he got to win it back. He got to win it back on his own. Not, you know, the Royal Rumble got to challenge for the title. Like, no, he put the title on the line. He lost it. But it was basically just Teddy Long feeling bad for Ray and gave him his title shot back, which is stupid. Good hit, great heat for Randy though. What a jackass. Just like they said, a girl got arrested in England for posting the lyrics to a rap song online because it had the N-word in it. See, that's the kind of ridiculous shit you got to deal with living in Europe. Who the fuck wants to live with that? I'm an American, goddamn it. If for no other reason, that's why you should wave the flag, dog. you imagine the government dropping by your house because you posted some OJ the Juice Man lyrics? Get the fuck out of here, man. Mark Force is refreshing when you talk about politics or issues where it's not insulting people based on their views or different opinions, and it's informative. So why stay away from politics due to people going nuts? Yeah, I mean, you just gotta pay attention to things, and you don't have to offend anybody. You just say what you feel. You know, ultimately, I'm for people feeling how they feel. I just want to understand how you feel. I understand, why a lot of the liberals feel how they feel. I just disagree with them. You're not going to meet your goals the way that you want to attain your goals. And also, a lot of them they don't really believe shit anyway. They're liars. Most of them. They're just manipulating people. Tessa's still good and she's a racist. Are they starting it all over again, huh? You gave it a 6.5 out of 10 with the match or the pay-per-view. It says China is run by a communist party, yet has a more right-wing culture than the modern West. Kind of weird, isn't it? But you should also realize that part of what's going on in the modern day is probably people taking money from places like China. They're selling our farmland to China. They did it here in Michigan. I'm pretty sure they're doing it all over the country. But that's always been the thing, though. And this is what I kind of what tests my libertarian patience is these people get into government and then they just start selling farmland and water rights to foreign governments, all these foreign entanglements. And they don't get investigated for that kind of stuff. WG feels that the good in my foreign affairs unfollow me after getting her IG because we don't have the same values, which is crazy. She's majoring in Chinese, and I'm sure they don't have the same values. Oh man, look at this. This is tough. Oh, look at Ray beating himself up over this thing. This is tough. This is high drama right here, bro. This is the kind of shit you need to see in wrestling because this is setting up all the stuff about Ray being as a character. The confidence issues, the ultimate babyface, the ultimate underdog. But that's why he needed to turn it on and win it himself. They didn't want Ray to beat Kurt Angle, but Kurt Angle is a beatable champion for a guy like Rey Mysterio. All the same guys that were cheering for Chris Benoit is looking at it Ray like, ugh. Look at he getting shunned by Funaki, for God's sake. Nobody's offering a hand. Nobody wants to be Ray's friend. God damn. That's a sad walk right there, dog. That's a walk of shame right there, brother. Damn. Do you think Undertaker versus Kurt Angle should have been at WrestleMania 22? Yes. Even though I know Undertaker was probably supposed to lose, I would have preferred this match as a WrestleMania match. But I understood why they did what they did. They wanted to go with the story with Ray. But I don't think Mark Henry should have been Undertaker's opponent that year. NWO 06 was a solid B show pay-per-view. No really bad matches. Even Undertaker and Angle match was good. At the time, didn't like the ending, but now looking back, it protected both guys. I love the ending. Both endings were great. Yeah, I absolutely think Undertaker and Kurt Angle should have main event WrestleMania 22. I would have liked that. The only problem is they didn't have a storyline going into this outside of Undertaker doing magic shit. But they should have just had Undertaker win the Rumble in 06. But then you wouldn't have the Ray story. I'm excited as fuck for this. Triangle is so good. AJ3 says if the Democratic Party would have dismantled, who would be left? Progressives. It'll just turn into the Socialist Party. That's really all it is anyway. The fact of the matter is that the Socialists and the establishment, they can't work together. So they're going to end up having to separate eventually anyway. The establishment, I think the first people to purge the crazies out of their groups are going to end up being fine. And right now, the Democrats are in a prime position to purge all the crazy lunatic socialists out of their party. Do it now while you've lost everything. Just get rid of all these AOCs and Ilhan Omars. Get all these motherfuckers out of there. And run on your regular establishment, boring ass globalist Democrats. Get rid of all the crazy socialists who want to do all this DEI shit and care about transgender sports and all that kind of stuff. Get all these people out of your party. Because eventually the Republicans are going to be having to purge people out of the party. They're already trying to do it. All the people who are supporting Elon Musk, all the people who are fans of rap music, you know, there's a regular old boring ass Daily Wire Republicans who don't like that shit. They hate Trump and they hate all the stuff that Trump is bringing into the Republican Party. Eventually, they're going to start kicking motherfuckers out too. It's more of them than it is of regular people. A Chinese video game student went on a college course in Sweden, and all he taught was about oppression, gender, and white privilege. I bet he went home and laughed his ass off like, they ain't learning shit over there. We could take these motherfuckers over easy. They don't even know how to count. Kids can't even read anymore. They got the gingerbread gender man or whatever the fuck. Europe has been self-indulgent since World War II. Since Hitler and Mussolini and all of them came through and crushed the focus. They've been scared to even have guns in Europe now. They pussified their entire population. Same thing happened in Japan, really. Japan became the land of cat girls right after they lost World War II. Before World War II, it was kamikazes, Bushido. After World War II, it was all cat girls and video games. World War II was crazy. Changed the world, dog. America didn't really change till Vietnam, though. That's when things got real over here. AJ3 said, I can't imagine today they thought it'd be good to turn Rey Mysterio heel. What is this about Rey Mysterio turning heel? The Generation Shining Guy says, why don't today's liberals ever try to actually understand the center or the non-liberal side of others? Do they notice that there has been an alarming rate of former lefties? Yes, but they are it's essentially a cult. And the way cults work is if you leave the cult, there's something wrong with you. It's not something wrong with the cult. Once people leave Scientology, they get cut off, and you realize that the person wasn't a true believer, and it's something wrong with that person. There's something defective about them, not anything wrong with the organization. And that's just kind of how it is, man. But I'm also deeply concerned by the number of leftists who have become Trump supporters. And those people are deeply problematic, and I don't trust them. Not that they're bad people, I just don't trust them. But there are some people like Anna Kasparian, I'm like, okay, she had a come to Jesus moment, and she realized how crazy the left is. She's not a right winger though. Like, she hasn't swung all the way on the other side. But she realized that she's been promoting a lot of dumb shit, and she's going to stop promoting the dumb shit, which is good. Be normal. Be a normal person with different opinions than me. Don't be a lunatic like some of those other people. Like, what's that other idiot? Sam Cedar. Guy's a fucking lunatic. If the Democratic Party tell him that jumping up in the air will cure cancer, he'll jump off a fucking cliff in a moment. Moment's notice. No question, just to prove it. And I think the COVID thing just proves how they could control people. And some people who were compromised during COVID, myself included, went and got the shots. They realized never again. Never let that shit happen to anybody again. But you was under so much pressure, and you was so scared that you figure, my God, I gotta. What will happen if I don't? And then you very quickly learn that you were manipulated the whole time. Think about how amazing that is. The Undertaker actually had to go to the ropes. When was the last time you ever saw that? I don't think you ever saw that since this happened. That he get us in a lockup and he can't get out and he has to go to the ropes. Rey Mysterio, the Spider-Man of WWE. What do you consider Rey's one more day? Him losing the title to Cena, him getting booed at 2014 Royal Rumble, him losing his eye, Dominic betraying him. The whole thing with the eye was not legit. I don't think that concerned anybody at all, because Rey Mysterio is one of these guys you can destroy 100 times and he'll be fine. I think that a lot of the damage done to Rey is the title run wasn't great. If he had been solidified as the main event, a lot of this other stuff doesn't matter, because they did bad stuff to Undertaker too. They did bad stuff to Shawn. They did bad stuff to Roman. It happens. When you're in a main event feud, sometimes it's your job to put somebody over. Like, Undertaker lost to the Great Khali through one strike, I believe. He just got chopped in the head and got pinned. And most people act like it didn't happen. But it did happen. I remember being extremely angry when it did happen. But I don't think Rey Mysterio has been a part of a storyline that I think has buried him. Outside of him being world champion and never fucking winning a match. Generation Sharingan says he's pro Kendrick, but Kendrick feds or fans, I'm guessing, are becoming like Tool fans. I want to be pro Kendrick, but Kendrick says and does things that I find objectionable. So. But I like him as a rapper generally, because I was a fan when he was just the guy on the blogs. So it's hard for me to not root for him. when he was making stuff like Pussy and Patron and Michael Jordan. I was a big fan of Kendrick Lamar. I'm not going to switch up on him, but I'm going to say like he never would have made Auntie Diaries if he thought he was going to become a big rapper. He never would have made that shit. The whole Crown of Thorns thing, you know, with the women's rights stuff, that makes me hard to support him. But I'm glad he made it. I'm glad he's doing well because he was always a very talented guy. David G. Field said the first choir song was Andre the Giant's dub theme for 2K14. Just like State that, did you see the DNC leadership election? They're doubling down on the woke shit. Yeah, they're gonna kill the party. I don't know what happened. I just know about David Hogg, and I just laughed at that alone because he's not qualified to run a lemonade stand, let alone a political party. But do what you do, man. They had to basically DEI that white kid into a university, so I don't trust him. But again, he's controlled. They control every aspect of David Hogg, so they trust him. He wouldn't be anywhere in life without the control of the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party machine. So of course they're going to put him in that position. I think he's the vice chair or something like that. Which, you know, how did he get that position without any sort of merit? What did he do in life at any point in time that means that he's capable of running the party or helping to run the party? Nothing. He's done fuck all nothing. So he said that Red Note app, a bunch of people becoming Maoists. But you got to be already intrigued to go on that shit anyway. And they didn't do nothing but getting a face fucked with Chinese propaganda. Oh shit, China is so great. Yeah. Move your ass on over there and see what happens. They won't let you on the goddamn subway because you're fat. And they find that objectionable. The Sharon Sharingan says, I remember years back a lot of people hating WWE in 2006, but looking back, wrestling makes 06 look like 97. But that's the thing, like a lot of this stuff it might not have been that great as you're watching it in the moment, but it ages well. Some of it, not everything, obviously, but this show aged pretty well. I mean, even on paper, it was a good show. Undertaker versus Kurt Angle, Booker T versus Chris Benoit, Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton, JBL versus Lashley, and a cruiserweight open, essentially. There's nothing to dislike about this show. Mark Forster says WWE and TNA are going to be up here in New Jersey in a few months. TNA doing a pay-per-view at the UBS Arena. Yeah, that's a 20,000 seats. You think they can go that far? I'm interested. Raw and NXT going to be at MSG next month. They doing NXT in Madison Square Garden? Oh, they shooting for the moon at this point. How much are those tickets going to be? My God. For NXT? Yes, I know you don't like protests, but when you see all these protesters on the news, notice there is no black faces or black people in them. Not only do I notice that, but I notice that they never protest when the Democrats are in power. I think they're all paid anyway. Again, once at this, I already kind of figured that they were all paid. I've always been on the side of rioters and protesters are being paid to be there. Because most of them are being bussed in anyway. Just like the when they just had this what's this Costco buy-in that Al Sharpton bitch ass was doing. They bust in all these people. Where do you find all these people, man? Where do you find all these people? These people are not that. It's hard to get a lot of people passionate about something. It's very hard. It's very, very hard to get people organically passionate about something. So to get them to travel from their homes on a bus way out to the middle of nowhere just to protest, there got to be some kind of incentive there. Otherwise, people would just say what they got to say online or in their YouTubes or Twitters or whatever and stay their asses at home. In order for them to leave the house, there has to be some kind of incentive for them. And we know that Antifa and all of them was being gifted weapons and they had bail funds and everything set up for them. So that's what their incentive. They get to go out and cause chaos and then they get taken care of on the back end. But all these regular people, I bet you if you stopped giving, if you banned, and I'm not saying that you should because I'm a libertarian, but if you banned people getting extra credit for protesting or paying protesters, then you would probably see a whole lot less rioting and a whole lot less protesting. I'm weirded out by Undertaker's like not completely dyed hair. Like some of it's dyed and some of it isn't. I don't get this. WG Phil thinks that the Daily Wire ones are going to end up getting purged. They seem like laughing stocks, fumbling the female younger audience. Well, yeah, they're going to end up purging themselves, sure. Yeah, sure. That's one of the issues is, you know, the female audience, also the casual gay audience, the Milos and, you know, those kinds of people who have shown some willingness to work with the Republicans. You know, the Dave Rubens. Like every day I look in some Republicans complaining about something stupid that don't matter. IVF. They're mad about IVF. And I'm like, okay, IVF is not abortion. It doesn't kill anybody. Yes, it doesn't always work, but that's sperm in general. You know, sperm and eggs don't always work, you know, and create a baby anyway. It's not what abortion is. It's like, got to take your wins and then temper your wins with things that you know you're not gonna like. Like I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the moves Trump has made. Anything that got to do with Gaza, I'm not a big fan of. I don't want. I'm not interested in that. I think that's a mistake. It's dumb. It ain't gonna do nothing. But like, I guess again, I live in Michigan. I live pretty far from Dearborn, but there's two huge Muslim populations in the Detroit area, in Hamtramck and Dearborn. We don't have terrorist threats. We don't have all that bullshit. Don't put us in a position where we're going to start having that stuff. You know, like our Arab population is pretty damn dope. Even if they hate Jews, and you get pretty much, you're easily going to get a lot of anti-Israel stuff as soon as you go to one of these places. But they typically don't want to destroy the life that they've built. You know, it's not like Europe. Like those Arabs go to Paris or whatever, and they fuck shit up. They don't do that here. So why give them a reason to fuck shit up here? Because even if they're not Palestinian, they're Muslims, and they take what you do over there personally. And that's why if we had an intelligent House or senator that could talk to Trump without being a raging fucking lunatic, we could tell him like, look, man, we got a bunch of Muslims in our backyard here in Detroit. You don't want to rile them up with all this Gaza shit. Just stop it. You know, cut it out. Even if it is a negotiation tactic, do that shit on the low. Keep it quiet. Because the last thing you want is them problems. You don't want those problems. But like I said, I've been going. They don't go Allahu Akbar, start doing weird shit over here. Oh, you give this show a 7 out of 10. I think that's solid. This is a pretty good show. Eze Nuwara says 2006 had a lot of good stuff, but for the most part, it was a bad year. SmackDown itself was doing some of the lowest ratings in the show's history. WG feels that the whole H-1B thing was a litmus test to realize Trump supporters are not Republicans and don't really like the open racism that the right or the white victimhood has. They are more populist. Yeah, that's Trump's base right there. Is the people who care about, But that's part of the problem, because a lot of those people, those populists, man, they're kind of socialist and supporting things like labor unions. Like, what the fuck are you supporting labor unions for? He's really trying to get rid of labor unions. So Trump is going to support. One of the things that he should get rid of is the National Laborers Relations Board, or whatever the fuck it's called. Get rid of it. It's the labor unions in the government, in the federal government. Get rid of them. He's not going to do that because he was backed by the Teamsters and all that shit, man. Like, come on, man. That's why I say, like, there's a lot of stuff that Trump does or involved with that I don't like. Like, I have my concerns about the Elon Musk tie-in. I'm not too concerned with it because Elon Musk can't unilaterally do anything, so I don't care. So it's not like he has any real power. Only power he has is the power Trump has given him. So people are like, President Musk, he's the president now. Like, he can only do what Trump tells him to do, or Trump wants him to do. He can't do anything more than that. He's just letting them be somewhat autonomous in, cutting reckless spending. But Elon Musk is not in control of the government. So I'm not concerned about Elon Musk's involvement in the government. I am more concerned about Trump's involvement in the government. Shit. Elon Musk is trying to find, money that we're wasting. Trump is out here trying to piss off the Canadians. I don't care about Canadians being mad. It's annoying. But you look at the people who are being pissed off by the Trump administration, they're all the same. Because Canada is no different than England. It's no different than Germany. They don't have free speech. They exert way too much control over their population. And the population has been in rebellion for like 10 years. Like, the thing is, Canada, and the COVID thing really blew it up. But Canada is not every Canadian is a fucking lunatic socialist. Most of them are just like kind of like minor socialists, which means they love their universal health care and all that bullshit. But they also want to be able to protest their government without being thrown in jail. And they insist on throwing their asses in jail. So what are you going to do? They're debanking people in Canada too, openly. They're also doing land acknowledgments. Like, Canada is so far gone that it's ridiculous, man. And all these far left Western countries are being very, very upset by Trump. But I think that's what he wants. He wants to piss off Europe and Australia and Canada. What he wants them to do, I guess, is what he's doing is he wants America to lead them again. But they don't want to be led. They want America to change. They all in alignment. As Tariq Nasheed says, they're on code. They all seem to ban the same exact fucking things. They all seem to agree with all the same programs: mass migration, trans people in sports. All of a sudden the king and the queen were black. All that kind of ridiculous stuff. They all seem to agree with all that same shit. And that stuff is all propaganda. And there's no reason why all these foreign countries all agree to the same goddamn things and adhere to the same fucking standards. And then they try to push it on Americans. Trump is pushing back and telling them, you need to change. And they don't like that. They don't want to deal with that. And I don't feel like you should tell Canadians how to live. I say fuck Canada. Let them do what they're doing. If they want to, until the Canadians want to change it, it won't change. Just like I say, so there's a progressive commentator called Francesca Florentini who says Trump's deportations are human rights abuse, but she works for Qatar government. I'm telling you, they don't have standards. It's all about power. They don't care. They're being paid by the Chinese, the Qataris, NGOs. Like they claim they care about human trafficking, right? You know, Vince McMahon's a literal human trafficker. Like, oh really? You know, when Trump talks about, you know, illegal immigration, a lot of illegal immigration is human trafficking. Whoa, what a hell of a bump there by Undertaker. Like a lot of this illegal immigration is people selling themselves to the cartels to be moved from where they are to the United States. That's human trafficking by definition. And a lot of the women are being raped while this is happening. And you can't tell any Democrats or leftists about this. They don't care. Like they actually think that it's unaccompanied minors coming into the country is a good idea. It's like, why are there unaccompanied minors? What do you think is going on here that there's literal children crossing the border with no adults or with adults who are not their parents? What do you think is going on here? They don't care about human trafficking, man. It's just bullshit that they bring up because they want to try to make you sympathetic. They don't care about human trafficking. They don't care about human rights abuses. They'll say anything in order to get sympathy and in order to bend your ear to their cause. I don't believe anything they say. You have to treat a lot of these socialists like you're literally talking to Satan. They're the fathers and mothers of lies. That's what they do. So it's probably the opposite. All right? It's probably the opposite. I like that about Kurt Angle though. He could have won by count out. You don't want to. But what I also like about this match is how dominant Kurt is. Like Kurt is so aggressive that, you know, Undertaker is working. He's doing a lot of selling, and it started from the very beginning with him being caught by Kurt, you know, and he having to run to the ropes. Oh shit! Like it's very rare that you will see a smaller opponent go at Undertaker like this. AJ3 says Ray has been a babyface his entire WWE career. I was thinking a heel turn in 2025 with him reuniting with his son as a heel. Father duel could reshape his career or just retire. I don't like. No, I'm not talking about turning Rey Mysterio heel. Just forget it. Just forget it. I think he should retire by losing his master Dominic when he's ready to go. Of course. By that time, Dominic will be ready for it. He said that match you were talking about was Judgment Day 2006, which was rendered as one of the worst pay-per-views in WWE history. Judgment Day 2006. I don't remember that one. What do you think of Kurt's 06 run from January to after Mania? I love Kurt Angle, so it's going to be hard for me to say that he did anything bad. I mean, the Mark Henry match was rough, but come on, it's Mark Henry. What can you do? It's just unfortunate that, you know, this was it for Kurt. This run was his last run. He was out of the company by the end of the year. So not to make things kind of color-based, but who's worse, white leftist content creators or black leftist content creators? The whites, because they hate themselves. And nobody who hates themselves can possibly like you. White people who hate white people are probably they don't like black people either, trust me. the black creators who hate white people, they're insecure, and that could be dangerous. But people who are self-hating they can't be trusted at all. He said one of his best runs in his career, he was a beast in ECW. He was. I think he was supposed to be the first. When he was supposed to be like the ECW champion after Rob Van Dam, but he didn't stick around for that. It's amazing that people blame Vince, like, oh, the Vince is all this terrible booking of ECW, without recognizing that Kurt Angle got sent to ECW and then he quit, and then Benoit got sent to ECW and he killed his fucking family. Like, the brand suffered from, and then Rob Van Dam got arrested. Like, it was snake bit from the beginning, bro. Like, the whole thing was just not going to work out. Like, yes, Vince booked the Zombie, and he did that absolutely abysmal. What was that Big Show and Batista match? But that show was supposed to be built up with Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle and Rob Van Dam. It was supposed to be a better show and a better product than it ended up being. And a lot of that happened because out of Vince McMahon's hands. Kurt was going off the perks and wanted to get out, and Benoit had murdered everybody. So. He said apparently the centrist regular Democrats are not a fan of Hogg. Hogg seems like a serial killer, a living green goblin. He's just exploiting being a part of that shooting. That's all. He said China freezes your accounts if you criticize the government, so not that different from Canada. Yeah, that's the thing about communist countries. You're not allowed to criticize the government. What are you talking about? Once the revolution has occurred, there can be no other revolutions. And since they know what to do, which is turn off your money, that's ultimate control over your life. Look at Undertaker selling. This is amazing. I'm glad he doesn't work like this often, but I'm glad he worked like this then. This was one of those matches that when people, I just saw this the other day. Somebody said Undertaker wasn't very good. I'm like, okay, clearly they didn't watch this match. And not even just, oh, he had all these great matches with Shawn. Look at this match here. That features him selling, him allowing a smaller opponent to get so much control over him. Like, he's working with Kurt like Kurt is Brock Lesnar, Like, the way he's working for Kurt here is similar to how he worked with Brock. And a lot of that has to do with how legitimate Kurt is. What are your thoughts on Irv Gotti's death and 50 trolling? I was sad when Irv Gotti died because I didn't realize he was that young. I thought he was older than that. And whenever somebody dies and they're not 70, it kind of makes you feel bad, especially if you grew up with him on TV, And 50 is just tasteless. You know how he is. 50 is heartless. He said 06 makes anything after 2013 very watchable. 2013 is not a strong year. You said you love seeing how people go on the red note, seeing how racist and homophobic China is. That's how you know all the people who are coming back from there and pushing Chinese propaganda are probably already communists. Oh, NXT Roblox is going to be at the theater. Okay, Raw going to be a part of it. That's true. So they're protesting against deportations in sanctuary cities run by people who agree with them. The Daily Wire lost most of their viewers after Candace Owens and Brett Cooper. Almost most people just hate Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro makes it easy to not like him. So does Matt Walsh. They have such boomer bad takes, and Ben Shapiro is such a Israel hawk is ridiculous. What a counter. Yeah, like it costs a lot more to get to the United States than it does to get to Europe. So we get far more well-behaved Muslims over here. But we don't have crazy Muslims here, which is good. I'm glad to hear that. So not a fan of the Gaza stuff, and another big fan of the Panama and Gulf of Mexico stuff either. I think that he's just picking fights with you talk about this old Gulf of America thing. It's funny. I find it to be funny, but it's unnecessary heat that he's getting with the Mexicans. He said there was a way of ending trafficking is to get them in illegally. You want to end trafficking, start throwing people in prison for bringing folks over here. I don't think we should be throwing them in Guantanamo Bay though. I think that's a mistake. That's a torture camp, bro. You say you'd rather have Kurt leave than end up dead? Yeah, me too. But he was one of the many dominoes for the ECW brand that fell right before the shit really got started. Seeing Daily Wire suck up to former corn stars. Who? Ben Shapiro gets very upset when people ask him about the USS Liberty. The 06-07 Smackdown was somewhat carried by the mid-card and tag division of a few main events. That's how the show's supposed to go, though. The main event guys sell the tickets, but the mid-carders are the ones who really populate the show and make the show jump with energy. So even if your main event guys aren't there, great finish. That was a great finish. I like that finish. Well, he fucking counted, Taz. He did no Undertaker stuff in this match. Like he barely did like his setups and all that kind of stuff in here. Undertaker went out there and had a wrestling match. Not even really a character match. Tremendous. Tremendous work by old Undertaker. Too bad he doesn't get a lot of credit for all the Japanophiles. Democrats, they just make stupid choices. Recently, I saw this video talk about Hakeem Jeffrey rise to power over a Black Panther candidate that he was competing against for the Senate. I think that everybody involved is fucked. He said, just like State said, starting a third brand in ECW ended up diluting the quality of Raw and SmackDown. That is absolutely true. But the whole point of that was to do an expansion drift, to give more people opportunities. That's all Vince was about. You have a separate brand. You bring in some people from the developmental, and those people get an opportunity. CM Punks and Kofi Kingston's and all of them. Very fun show. Especially excellent main event. Love Undertaker versus Kurt Angle. And the show ended at almost exactly 12 o'clock, just like I said. WG feels that you don't see them trying to do a redemption tour for that redhead model. I don't know who it is, so I can't say for sure. There's a lot of shady people jumping on the conservative bandwagon, I will say that. Islamic State says, I remember when the IWC freaked out over Undertaker endorsing Trump. They claimed he only ever had good matches with Shawn Michaels. They must have never seen his match against Angle. They must have never watched any of his stuff, period. But that's what they do. Like, Bubba Ray Dudley pissed everybody off the other day, and then people started ranting about how the Dudley Boys sucked and how the Dudley Boys were never good. I'm like, these people are. Look, man, I'm not a big Dudley Boys defender. My God, I'm not gonna. You're not gonna get me into all of that. But come on, man, get real. Nobody cares about the Dudley Boys. Okay, nobody gives a shit about the Dudley Boys, and then all of a sudden, the Dudley Boys are the worst tag team of all time, and all this and all that. Like, come on, get real. WG feels that, do you think Ryan Reynolds ruined his Deadpool bag because of his wife doing a Me Too stunt? I never even heard about his wife doing a Me Too stunt. I just think that the movie wasn't that good. Oh shit, Elijah is on TNA. He got a guitar and everything. Interesting. AJ3 was it from content creator Savvy Sabs. It was Michael Knowles with Nayla Ray. Gregory Helms, Jamie Noble, Kid Cash Funaki, Deuce and Domino, Booker T, Ray, Finley, Regal, Batista, Mr. Kennedy, just to name a few. Good Smackdown was pretty good. Mid card 0607. Yeah, they did a really good job. I always liked Mr. Kennedy and all those guys, man. MVP. I like those guys. This dude did like a tribal John Dillinger podcast. What the hell? All right. Thank everybody for stopping by, y'all. You guys make this thing fun. I appreciate it. So I guess we'll talk to you guys next week when it's time for the Q&A. He said IWC is not a real place. Oh, it's real, all right. It's very real. I'll talk to you guys later.